Hello again everyone, Age of June here, and we're back with another League of Legends single-player shoutcast. Gonna be focusing this game on the bot lane. It's actually this guy right here, Kalista, played by Imp, also known as Keith McBrief. Yeah, I've been saying I wanted to go ahead and cast a game with him in it, and I haven't been able to. He finally made it into Challenger, which means that LOL King's recorder starts picking him up. So he's got a few games. I was actually torn between this one and a game in which he was a Kog'Maw. But I decided to go... I like that animation. I decided to go with this one because honestly, I kind of like Kalista, and I wanted to go ahead and actually have a cast focusing on her specifically, especially in his hands. And, I mean, I've had plenty of Kog'Maw that I've paid attention to in the past. I really haven't done that much with Kalista yet. I've seen her in some of my shoutcasts and stuff, but never really focused on her. So I wanted to go ahead and do that this time. He is, I believe, with Liquid JoJo, I'm guessing probably a duo queue there. And I'm guessing it's probably one of his team members, just based on the whole Liquid thing. He's Liquid Keith, Liquid JoJo, probably related. I don't know for sure, but that is what I'm guessing. But either way, looking forward to seeing how this ends up going. I think it should be pretty exciting. It's a cool champion either way. I don't know if it's something that I'd really be willing to play, and it's not something I enjoy supporting. However, it's really fun to watch. Kalista's a fun champion to watch. I just don't enjoy supporting her. Mostly just because of the whole screen locking thing when she ults. That sucks so bad. Hate that. Anyway though, she, or he, is going to be against Corky over here, played by Esports Mom. I'm reasonably certain I've seen that person too. The support for the red team going to be Quantum Physics here as the Annie, so that should be interesting too. And Liquid JoJo, as I mentioned before, is playing the Janna support. So go ahead and stick these guys in place where they go. Alright, there we go. We are in the bot lane now, and we're going to continue on arranging everything. We've got a Jace played by TDK Kyle versus Gnar played by Fatal Kryptonite. We've got Morgana mid, unusually enough, played by Painless, against the Ezreal played by Duocheck. I actually didn't notice that when I was looking at this. I expected an Ezreal bot lane, but not gonna happen. The bot lanes, of course, have already been mentioned, including Porpoise Deluxe. Sorry, Quantum Physics is Annie, and I think, I mentioned everybody. Alright, so finally we've got the jungles here. I'm going to have to stop this because that is getting a little too annoying. Yeah, anyway, jungles are Ganked from Above, played by Lee Sin, and Porpoise Deluxe playing Rengar. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to lock that. The locked screen mode with Kalista, that's not very pleasant at all. I'm sorry if that messed you guys up. I was not paying attention for a little while, and then it kind of started getting to me. So hopefully it didn't bother you guys too much, and if it did, I'm very sorry. I won't do it again, I promise. Decent amount of damage. Wow, actually a lot of damage coming out there onto Esports Mom. He is really low. So gotta watch out, or she, whatever. What if it actually is an Esports Mom? I would not be surprised. However, given the fact that it's a Corky is why I said he. But, we can go with she. I'll probably interchangeably use them. I mean, I keep calling Liquid Keith as a she because he's playing Kalista. So, that's the way that goes sometimes. Anyway, though, not too much has happened down here. He actually is a decent amount up ahead of Corky on CS-wise. Takes a little bit of damage there from the Annie, but together with the Janna was actually able to do a lot of damage back. And those guys, of course, don't have any sustain. So because of that, the Janna and Kalista have pretty much free reign down here. That's actually first blood up top for this blue team. Good sign for them. Yeah, they are keeping these guys pressured down. They can't do any, diving tower right now. That would be suicidal. 1, Annie has her stun. 2, you're way too low for that. That's not going to happen. So right now, they're just going to keep it pressured. Corky going to miss some CS, but for the moment, he's actually doing pretty well with his CS. Considering. And see how they end up coming out later. And there we go, that first blood has been offset. A little bit of damage also coming out there onto the Annie, which actually somewhat risky, but timed pretty well. Oh, the Corky popped the heal to save himself. Had it not been for that, he'd be dead right now. So that heal is down. He's going to be forced to go back. Heal bait not going to work when you're going to be dead if you stick around. Out comes the stun from Annie. He did go ahead and shield it up. Now Annie's in a little bit of trouble. There we go. They're going to die of it. She has no stun, so she's not able to do anything. There we go. Imp is able to go ahead and finish off that Annie. Yeah, as soon as they saw Corky go back, they knew that was the perfect time. Janna went in, tanked up the tower, and just let Keith finish off the Annie. Because there was really nothing preventing him. She could tank the tower, he could take her down. She had no stuns, she just used it, and that was GG for her. And that's nicely played. So he's going to be able to head back now. He's currently got 1,200 gold. So we'll see what he ends up turning that into. Actually, a Vampiric Scepter as well as Dagger and Boots of Speed. Not really a whole lot of AD coming out here. 10 AD total. I'm kind of surprised by that. I would have expected something different, but at the same time, I guess I could kind of see it. I don't know that well of what you build on her. Huh. I do actually have what he ended up with on my right screen. Looks like it'll be kind of interesting. Kind of strange, but kind of interesting. Anyway, though, they are back here, and they're actually getting pretty close to having Kalista be 6. She's currently 5. These guys are still only 4. Janna just hit 5 now. They actually could end up pulling off some pretty nasty plays here if the red team continues shoving this forward. Because you could have something like an ult by the Kalista, which pulls the Janna into her, of course. And then she jumps out and goes ahead and ults them, like, under the tower if they're far enough forward. They're playing very safe right now, so that's not going to end up happening. But it is something that could happen if they got pressed up far enough. You could actually end up ulting them under tower, and they wouldn't be able to avoid it very well. Nice dodge there. That's something that's really good about Kalista. Able to dodge that without really much problem at all. And, ooh, getting chunked off of that passive from, I believe, her E, yeah? No. That one. Off of her W. Passive off the W. Yeah. Doing a lot of damage there to the Corky. The slow from Janna really allowed that too, because they were able to get a couple extra hits off. Ooh, the Ezreal ulti coming in, chunking these guys. Now all of a sudden they're a little behind. On the other hand though, the Kalista does have sustain thanks to potions. So they're going to be able to come back around, and for the moment he's just keeping them pretty well zoned. Corky was able to go back and get a Ruby Crystal and a Longsword. So he actually didn't get much damage either. He actually has equivalent extra damage for what he bought as Kalista. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. However, Imp does have that increased lifesteal, so he's going to have a little bit better sustain. And given the fact that this red team really hasn't been able to harass them much at all, that lifesteal is kind of paying off. I mean, they've got him down, and he's just getting higher and higher up all the time. Because with every auto attack, he gains some life back. And they've not been able to do enough sustained damage to keep it down. Out goes that little sprite thing. That thing's kind of cool. I like that. It's a very useful ability there. Janna's shield come out. Ooh, and the Q goes right up into Corky. Nicely done. It looks like we may see a gank come down here. Don't know for sure. It was, of course, picked up. And, yeah, they know that that guy is there. So if they keep coming down, they will be seen, and they will know that they are seen. So they probably will decide against it. Looks like Morgana's actually getting engaged on. However, we are following this bot lane because we are doing a single-player shoutcast. RIP. That's okay. As you can see here, though, he has actually gone ahead. He's sustained back up. Oh, there we go. There goes that ult, or one of the ults. And they got the flash out of Corky. Damage coming in here onto Annie. And that dodge, they are still going for this. Lee Sin comes in. The Corky does manage to, actually, somehow Annie gets the kill. They do manage to finish off the Kalista, but Lee Sin was able to come in and finish off the Corky. So it ended up being a 1-for-1 trade. Definitely not ideal. And kind of sucks for them because that did end up giving the Annie a kill. On the plus side, of course, it was the Annie that got the kill, not the Corky, so that's going to help them quite a bit. But Still, it could be better. It looks like he's getting the Bilgewater Cutlass, as you can see. So he's going for the Blade of the Ruined King first. And I guess I could see it. I don't know. I feel like that's not a normal build on her. I feel like usually, I don't know, Infinity Edge followed by the Hurricane? I think it's Hurricane. Yeah, Hurricane. I think that's what the normal build is, but I'm honestly not sure exactly. One thing about Kalista is what you're seeing right here. She could stack those spears up like mad and then just destroy something. That's actually something that they intended, too. That she could actually use that to secure Dragon or Baron, because she can stack up a ton of spears and end up doing way more damage than Smite could do. Granted, that does mean, you know, you're not going to Smite steal. You're not going to steal anything as Kalista, but you can secure it. Out comes a stun from Annie, but of course the Kalista passive allows her to get far enough away that she really doesn't take much. She doesn't take any damage from Corki because of it. And she takes only a little bit of damage there from the Annie. Ooh, wow. Taking a lot of damage there, though. Pop up from the Janna. Not going to be able to save him, though. And Keith actually ends up going down. Jojo getting pretty low as well. Trying to escape. Nice shield to prevent that bomb from blasting him to bits. But, oh man, Ezreal's on his way down. Are we going to see an Ezreal ulti here soon? Nope. He's just going for the chickens. I wish you could mouse over them and see what they're called, because I can never remember properly. Alright, so there we go. He does go ahead and grab a dagger. Yeah, definitely going for that Blade of the Ruined King. I mean, if it wasn't already obvious, now it is. So yeah, going for that Blade of the Ruined King. So far, 1-2-1 with 81 CS versus 79 CS, 0-1-2 Corki. I think that puts him slightly ahead of gold? No, he's slightly behind, actually. So he is actually behind on gold, though not far. And he'll rapidly close that gap right now, because he's able to get that CS. So they're just about even for the moment. Kind of surprising, really. I know in the LCS, Keith was definitely dominant. He was very impressive indeed. I was surprised. I was not expecting that first week that they were going to be able to go ahead and grab a 2-0. And they did. I hope it's not a spoiler. It was 2 weeks ago, though. So, you know, I'm not as concerned about it at this point in the game. Down goes the Jace, and Kalista gonna get the kill. Doesn't get the kill. Did not actually save it. Let the Lee Sin get it instead. Honestly, they weren't all that worried about it, I guess. Not all that worried about it. Ooh, in goes Imp. Doesn't really do too much, though. Gets one auto attack off on Corki and then backs off to get this CS. This CS is important, you know. Meantime, his support is up in the mid lane, and he ended up going back. I don't know if she was really forced to go back, but she did go back, and she's on her way back down now. Janna back on her way mid, gonna go try to help that out. If Keith isn't careful, he may be engaged on by 2, but he's got a little while. Nice dodge again. Corki's Qs almost never land thanks to that dodge. However, he's still getting a lot of damage between auto attacks and his Gatling gun. Oh man, they're setting this up. Oh, out comes the ward. Yeah, they're not going to be able to finish that off. Just kidding. They've got sweeping lens. Down it goes. And it looks like Imp's going to come on over here. Go for some sustain off of the Krogs, I believe they are. Maybe Krugs. Either way, going to get some sustain off of that, as well as some money. And in the meantime, they're just letting Corki and Annie shove it. And it is kind of strange, because earlier in the game, they were actually shoving really hardcore into these guys, but at the same time, it's Corki. Corki is well known for having a massive power spike at multiple points in the game. Sheen is one of those power spikes, and he does have that already. But you saw right there, he got chunked from the Kalista auto attacks, followed by the E, I believe. Rend. Yes, E. Yeah, a lot of damage came out there, and it's really strong. It is sustained damage, though, whereas Corki tends to be more burst. He does, of course, have the long-range sustained harass in that right there, his ulti, but at the same time, it is, you know, not as sustained as is Kalista. She's got a lot more sustain. She does, of course, have burst at the end of it, but she doesn't have any upfront burst like he does. He's got the Q, he's got all sorts of things like that. There they go. They're going for this. Out comes that exhaust. They're going. Is she going to go ahead and ult? Yes, she ults the Annie back. Teleport coming down. They are forced to run. Kalista's way the heck ahead. Going to be able to pull the Janna to safety. That's exactly what happened. And there we go. They're going to get out of this with no problem. That was not a stun. I thought for a second that that was a stun. And now Gnar was actually all the way down here, way out of position, forced to run back up mid. And Kalista just trying to keep this Annie from going back, going in a little bit, doing some damage to these guys. The slow comes out on Annie, the pop-up as well. Heal comes out from the Corki. It's not enough, though, and that Annie goes down. Corki forced a Valkyrie out, and they're able to secure another kill there. That Rend, of course, did a lot of damage, and that is a 2-2-1 Kalista now. Corki, of course, only has a single kill, whereas, actually, no, Corki doesn't have any kills. All of his went to assists. And this may end up being the tower because this is a pretty big wave. They had a decent-sized wave with them already, and it just shoved up to the tower. There's no enemy minions. This tower is gone. He comes up here just to secure the local gold, and is going to go ahead and head on back. Probably going to finish off his boots, would be my guess. Yep, he does, and finishes off the Blade of the Ruined King as well. Ooh, that's pretty close. Not that it would have mattered, but, you know. Oh, apparently had money for Zeal, too. So he actually had a lot of money indeed. Yeah. And he's now headed back out to his bot lane to support roaming top here, and Annie is actually roaming top as well, amusingly enough. Whew. Barely missed. But Corki on his way up mid, whereas Kalista is actually on her way back down here to the bot lane, going to shove this up. Both mid towers have gone down, so in the mid lane, at least, it looks like they are mostly even. Down here in the bot lane, I feel like by this point in the game, Keith is actually a decent amount ahead. There goes a kill to Ezreal. He is now 1-0-2. He actually is way ahead on CS here. He's at 162. So keep that in mind. He actually is ahead there. But he's kind of being offset by the fact that Jace up top is at 141 and he's 5-2-1. So overall, I'd say this bot lane slightly ahead for the blue team. The top lane way ahead for the blue team. A flash from Keith. He's like, no, I'm getting out of here. I am not even going to stick around. He got the pink ward and he just got the heck out. He did not want to stick around for that. I can't say I blame him. Cannot say I blame him. Sends out his little wisp again. Gonna go see if he can get vision of anything. That thing is so cool. It is gonna get vision of Annie. She kills it, though. She kills it. Like a jerk. Alright, so he is hanging around here, and looks like he's going to go ahead and get some CS here for the mid lane. Not really a big deal. He's at 141 CS versus 135 for Corki, so they're actually really close on CS. But he does have a completed item here, where Corki does not. He's got that Blade of the Ruined King. Trinity Force is really expensive, but once Corki gets that Trinity Force, he's going to have a lot more damage all of a sudden. The thing is, though, by that point in time, Kalista's already going to have a decent amount of items here, so you're going to have to watch out. Out goes that Q. It does end up landing. These guys are hanging around in this bush. Oh! Dark Binding hits onto Annie. Not really going to matter too much, though. Imp hanging around the mid lane. And just gathering up this CS. It's hit by the Ezreal Q. Kind of jumped into it amusingly, but that's not really a big deal. In comes Jace. Does not land the harass. And these guys are just continuing to shove it forward. Dragon just spawned, and you see them immediately head down there. They're already going for it. Lee Sin was already there waiting. It is down to half. And Ezreal ulti comes through, but they do manage to finish it off. The secure actually came through from Kalista this time. Ezreal, watch out. Yeah. Sees them with his ward that he just placed there. It is going to get taken out, but he doesn't go in the bush, which is a good thing for him. There we go. Out comes that Tibbers. Does not end up landing, amusingly enough. A little bit of a misplay there by Annie. And blue team's just kind of shoving forward a little bit here. A lot of MIA pings, though, coming out saying, hey, watch out, Nar's disappeared, and he is. He's going to get picked up by the little guy, though. An awesome wisp thing. And yeah, they know where he is now. They don't know about Rengar being in this bush, however. But it doesn't look like they're on their way up there anyway. And he has now skedaddled. Red buff coming down here to Kalista. Bam! That does so much damage. It's insane. Yet awesome. Alright, looks like Lee Sin going in onto the Corki. Kicks him out. In comes Kalista. Oh! Corki manages to go ahead and jump over though, gets hit by the Dark Binding. That is a dead Corki. Kill goes to Kalista, who's now going for Ezreal. Nope, decides to back off, can't say I blame her. Annie comes in, oh, barely misses getting hit by that Ezreal ult. Out comes the heal, is he gonna survive? Uses, oh, just kidding. Uses the passive to try to get away. Stayed a little bit too close though. Ezreal Q came in, finished him off, and he is dead. Went ahead, pick up a pickaxe and a longsword though. Did not wait until he was back alive before doing so. Apparently they fixed the thing where you could see what the enemy buys if you have vision of their corpse. But apparently they also unfixed it in a recent patch. I believe the last patch, from what I understand, actually unfixed it. So do keep that in mind. What was fixed is now broken yet again. So if that was something you were worried about before, you should start being worried about it again. Maybe they'll end up fixing that again this next patch, though. Who knows? Who knows? Looks like Keith is on his way up here to the mid lane. He's probably going to run across this pink ward pretty soon. And nope, just kidding. Not going to. So far, both teams just seem content just to kind of roam around. Decent amount of harass coming out here from the Jace. There we go. The two lovebirds from bot lane are together again. And not really much happening. The Lee Sin was able to finish off the Annie, though. So this is now a 4 versus 5. Out comes the Mega Gnar. They do not want to engage right now. But if they wait just a little while, they'll be able to engage. By the way, that is some awesome dodging there by Keith. Oh! Very good dodging. He's dodging pretty much every one of those Corki ultis. But they ended up taking a lot of damage there from the Rengar flash. Bola did not land. Definitely unfortunate there. And we've got Jace hanging around in here. Goes in on the Ezreal. Ezreal getting low. Down he goes. That is shut down. The slow comes out onto Mininar. And at the moment, Kalista's not here, so I'm not going to follow her. We're just going to follow this team fight. Currently getting wolves. But they do manage to go ahead and finish off the Ezreal. That is shut down gold there to the Jace. And that's a good sign for them. Dark Binding does not end up hitting. Mininar is about to be Mega Gnar again. Jumps over the wall, though. Out comes the Mega Gnar very shortly. And they are not going to end up being able to use that as he is on his way top. He's going to be able to use it on the minions, but that's not exactly who you want to use it on. Flicky does have pretty good wave clear, though, so they're not really able to do too much for the moment. Dragon is not even close to being up at the moment, so they're not even worrying about that. Looks like he's actually on his way down to the bot lane to go ahead and prevent Rengar from being able to take his tower. Lots of pings. He's going back, though, so that's not really going to be too big of a deal. Is he? Is he? Yeah, he's going to let it finish. For a second, I thought he was actually going to go ahead and stick around and possibly go in onto Keith. Does not end up happening, though. That rend. Nice. Now we shall see what he does now. The answer is, goes ahead and buys Last Whisper. Alright, get that extra armor pen. I can definitely understand that. I mean, Gnar has a ton of armor. We've got armor... Decent amount of armor on the Ezreal. No armor, I believe, on either of these guys. Nope, no armor on them. But there is some armor on these two, so that'll help against them. And Jace getting another kill there. Ezreal forced to run away. Out comes the slow from the Janna. It jumps over the wall, gets popped up. Kalista's not quite here yet, doing what he can. Ezreal's able to finish off the Lee Sin, though. Oh, out comes that empowered Q from the Jace, however, able to finish it off. Dark Binding lands onto Annie. Annie goes down. And Corki is on the run as well. If another Dark Binding comes out, which it will soon. There we go. Out comes her ulti, actually. Imp is able to finish her off before that. I like how every time I call him something different, too. Sometimes I call him by Imp. Sometimes I call him by Keith. Sometimes I call him by Kalista. Same person either way. Why are they not going for that? Huh. I don't know. They end up not going for the little crab guy, though. I'm kind of surprised. I would have thought they would. But it looks like they are. A lot of pings coming out here from the red team onto the dragon. So we may end up seeing them go for that pretty soon. We'll definitely see the blue team go ahead and try getting some vision control of that, because they've gotten the last two dragons. Definitely a hint that they're probably going to try to get some vision of it and possibly go ahead and try to take it down. Out comes the little spirit. Gonna get vision of Rengar as he's on his way down. Meganar coming down as well. Word comes out from the Janna. Looks like their blue team is actually out of position here. They're not going to be able to get this dragon if they don't hurry up. Red team has engaged it. They're picked up by a ward, so the blue team knows. But Lee Sin's actually headed back. They're just going to give this up. I'm kind of surprised, too. I don't know why Lee Sin was headed back. Yeah. It's very strange. But he did. I mean, we saw him on the minimap. He was actually walking this way, which is strange. Gonna go ahead and give the red buff over here, though, to Kalista. There we go. I guess he figured the dragon buff was not quite worth it for the moment. And went ahead and head back. Kalista headed back yet again. Gonna go ahead and buy another Vampiric Scepter. Alright. Get a little bit more sustain. Has that red buff as well right now. Gonna be able to go ahead and deal some extra burn damage. Yep. Used to slow. No longer. No longer. Alright, there we go. They are all converging here. We're probably about to see a bit of a team fight. And out comes that harass there from Jace. Does some damage there to Ezreal. Not much happening yet. Corki harassed from range, doing about the same amount of damage to Lee Sin as was done to the Ezreal. And so far, neither team really seems like they want to engage here. They're just okay to go ahead and poke at each other. I mean, both teams are pretty pokey. They don't really have neither team really has too heavy of an engage comp. Although I don't know, red team's got both Rengar and Gnar. So that's actually a pretty decent engage comp right there. So maybe I'm a little wrong here. Gnar is in Mega Gnar form, gonna be down to Mini Gnar pretty soon though. So that anti-stun doesn't end up hitting too many people though. Imp is in the back just destroying Rengar, slowly taking him down. Out comes his Q. Rengar is able to go ahead and heal up from that though. The pop-up comes from Janna to keep them alive. And that's actually 2 down from the blue team. Red team didn't lose anybody. Keith is on his way over. Actually going to walk this way. That's pretty dangerous. He's going for it, though. Is he actually going to go for... Oh. Okay, good. I didn't think he would, but I was like, well, maybe he's going for something here. No, he's not. Going to walk through his gate instead. Probably go straight for the Rengar. Rengar's pretty low. Out comes that harass from Ezreal. In goes the Lee Sin. Lee Sin gets Bola, though. He ends up going down. The Janna ulti trying to disengage everyone. Down goes that tower. And all of a sudden, things are not looking good for the blue team. I mean, they were looking so good. And now all of a sudden, things are just kind of turning against them. I'm not quite sure where exactly it went wrong. But they are now 3K behind in gold. So somewhere along the way, what was a hardcore win for them just kind of spun around. You gonna hit it? You gonna hit that? No, they don't hit that. They're not gonna tap that. He's able to escape this, and they are actually shoving here mid lane for the moment. Oh, nice dark binding onto Corki there, and Kalista able to secure the kill. So that's a good sign here for the blue team. We do see them working on their way over here to the Baron, and Jace has already engaged. In goes Kalista, gonna be able to secure it with her Rend if need be, but Lee Sin is here as well for the smite. And if they can coordinate that, this Baron is 100% theirs. In goes the Rengar. Oh, he steals it! He stole it from both of those two. Nicely done there by Rengar. Baron goes over to the red team. Blue team, man, come on. What you doing, guys? What you doing? A very nice steal there by Rengar. It does mean that he's down, so it's 4 versus 5 in the favor of the blue team right now. But, they didn't let the blue team have that Baron. That would have been a really, really good thing to have for the blue team. And they ended up not getting it. They somehow managed to not get that Baron. I'm really surprised. I feel like had Keith waited just a little bit to use his Rend, or, you know, I don't know. I don't know. He might also not have had enough stacks to make that be the case. I'm not actually sure how many stacks it takes for Rend to do more damage than Smite. So it's entirely possible that there was really nothing that he could have done, and it just ended up coming down to a 50-50. If you look, Rengar is actually 2 levels above the Lee Sin, so I mean he is going to have an advantage in smiting. about the only thing that could outsmite him would be that stacked Rend, and it may take more stacks than Kalista was able to put on before it was too late. So that is probably what ended up happening there. Bit unfortunate for them. Red team going ahead, shoving forward now, but the blue team doing their best to just keep defensive here and not let them touch this tower. They're getting a little bit of damage to it. There we go. They've managed to get the shield down, and there's still a few minions left. But so far, they've not managed to destroy it quite yet. But this big minion is actually doing a lot of damage. There we go. Down it goes. And red team going to be forced to stay back for a little while. Dark Binding lands on the Ezreal. Not really going to be too big of a... Oh, just kidding. It is going to be a huge deal. Down goes the Ezreal almost. And Gnar forced back. In goes the Rengar. Gets destroyed instantly. Gnar getting pretty low. They're not going to go for that quite yet. Out comes that ulti from the Kalista, shoving that Janet into place to try to get something done. Did not end up popping anybody up, though. But they managed to get the Rengar as he engaged a little too far there. So we are back to another 4 versus 5. And we'll see if the blue team can actually make use of it this time. Dragon is coming up in 15, which means there is no smite when Dragon comes up for the blue team. But I don't think that for the red team, but I don't think blue team's going to be able to get over to Dragon in time for that actually to matter. I cannot see them destroying it before Rengar is able to get down there. He's back up now, and he's on his way down there. Out comes an engage here. They managed to go ahead and finish off the Ezreal and the Corki, though. Kalista doing what he can to destroy the Gnar. Doesn't really do too much, but that is going to give these guys the opportunity to go for the Dragon. They are going for it. Keith is hanging around mid, and red team's going to go ahead and back off. They are not going to even try to contest this, but you can't say I blame them. Keith, in the meantime, is getting some more CS. He's currently got a PD, Blade of the Ruined King, Last Whisper, and a Vampiric Scepter. So I'm guessing a Bloodthirster, which is kind of surprising to me. Like I said, I would have thought an Infinity Edge or the Runant Hurricane, but I don't know. Maybe this is a Keith McBrief special build or something. There we go. How much gold does he have? 945. Not going to be able to get by anything quite yet. Looks like he... Nope. Didn't buy a thing. Didn't buy a thing. Alright. Headed back out. By the way, one thing to note. In the future, right now, not there, but in the future, Scrying Orb is actually going to place a 60-second orb. That is pretty darn important, because that is going to buff up the Scrying Orb, and I think it might make it worth it for an ADC to start that, because I think the base ward is 60 seconds. I could be wrong, but I think it's 60 seconds. And if so, watch out, buddy. Get slowed. Not going to get killed, though. But I think that actually ends up being equivalent. I don't know if the ward actually comes out from level 9. I think it's there from the beginning, though. And if so, we may see ADCs starting with that blue trinket every time. Heck, we may see support starting with the blue trinket every time. If that's the case, it must not go for a full... It can't go for the same one as the yellow, because that would make base level yellow pretty much useless, and then you could trade later. So I don't know. It must be that the yellow one lasts more than 60 seconds. Maybe it's like 80 seconds to make it slightly different. Anyway, though, red team pinging on the inhibitor here, wanting to go for this. They've got to watch out. Dark Binding does not land. Not going to happen. Sorry, dude. No go for you. Rengar is back in base. He's on his way out right now. Right now would be the perfect time for these guys to engage. Not going to happen. They are not here. Baron is up in about 2 minutes, though. Watch out, Lee Sin. Lee Sin just got chunked there. He's got to be very careful. And that means these guys are back into a 4 versus 4 situation at the moment. There we go. Ezreal ulti coming through. Now it is a 5 versus 5. And we may see some action here. Looks like Lee Sin's headed back, though. But, you know, it could still break out into a fight before then. Nope, not going to happen. These guys are just going to slowly kite it back. Which, you know, Kalista's ridiculously good at. And she looks cool while doing it. Indeed. Blue team's turret has been destroyed. Alright, bot turret goes down. We have the engage here. They're going for this. Out comes the kick. Corki getting really low. Almost dead. Down goes Annie. The binding hit the Rengar there. Another binding hits the Gnar. Lee Sin goes in, finishes off the Ezreal. Actually, he did finish him off. And that's actually an ace there. Quadra kill for Jace. And we have the blue team shoving up this mid lane really quickly here. Lee Sin headed top in case it's needed. But these guys are going to go ahead and probably tank up this tower and allow them to just burst it down just in time for the minions to get here so they could shove to the inhibitor turret and take it down as well. Red team is not up yet, so they're not going to be able to save this at all. Not even close. Down it goes. They're going for the inhib. Lee Sin finished off that top tower. It's going... They're switching to the top inhib turret as well. It's going to go down, and they may end up getting the inhibitor as well, as the red team still is missing members of their party. Will the blue team back off? I would say yes. They are all somewhat low on health, and the red team has come up full health. No banana for you. Hit a couple minions, though. Hit a couple minions. And we see the blue team immediately pinging the crap out of Baron, saying, go, 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 go. Red team will be on their way there for a Desperation Baron. And we do actually see the red team on their way over to do just that. They're coming over here to go ahead and try, at the very least, to get vision control. But it looks like they are possibly thinking about going for it. There we go. They go in now. Out comes some harass from the Jace. Did a lot of damage there. And these guys are already getting really low. Morgana spell shield. Down goes the Rengar already. Out comes a stun onto the Ezreal. He is getting low. And he's not quite dead yet. Not quite dead yet. Alright, there we go. Kalista manages to finish off the Annie. Down goes the Ezreal to Lee Sin. Double kill comes out. He manages to finish off the Gnar. And out comes a surrender vote as well. So that is going to be the end of this game. Victory for Keith McBrief again. He's actually 6-3-8 now. So nicely done. And yeah, he went for a Bloodthirster, a Blade of the Ruin King, Phantom Dancer, and Last Whisper as well, of course, Boots. I'm kind of surprised by that. Interesting build. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys next time. Again, please leave a comment if you have any requests for future casts. Have a good night, guys.